Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Sound really loud.
Here.
Ashford. Here. Sullivan. Here. Vice Mayor, Vice Chair Beatty.
Here.
Mayor Chair Roulette.
Here. If you can, please stand with me for a moment of silence. Amendments to the agenda.
No amendments, sir.
Can I get a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
We'll move to item 4, approval of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
I got a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's a 4 approval and 1 abstain. Presentations, I see none. Consent calendar. Anybody from the council want to pull anything from the consent calendar tonight? Anybody from the audience? Did anybody write in from the audience that wanted to pull anything?
I thought it was continued.
Oh, okay. I just see it on here. So then we'll continue that to the next meeting. Item 7, business from the floor. This is time to address the council with any issues that are not on the agenda. And we have nothing from the public. All right, we'll close business from the floor. We'll move to public hearings, which is continued to April 14th. We'll move to 9A business. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 9A this evening is a resolution to ratify a local emergency proclamation due to the novel coronavirus pandemic and confirming directives. So last Tuesday evening, we issued the local emergency proclamation. The way the process works, I, as the head of the EEOC, or emergency coordinator, can issue that proclamation for a short-term period until the council comes together to then ratify that motion. So that's what we have before you this evening. So what I'd like to do is ask the fire chief to come forward and give a brief presentation on what actions we've taken over the past 6 days and what we're doing moving forward.
Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. I'm going to start a little bit before the 7 days that the city manager was talking about. Just to let you know, as far as the COVID-19 situation, we've been tracking the news since it came out, since January, February timeframe. And it became local essentially on February 27th when we, the fire department, received a directive from Solano County saying that we could not transport any patients to Vacaville or North Bay. We weren't given a reason for that, but later found out it was because of the first community transmission of COVID-19 known case in the United States, and that was in Vacaville. Since then, the situation has evolved rapidly and is changing minute by minute as we go on. We're monitoring the situation very carefully and very closely as we go forward. On March 4th, we did participate with the school district on a town hall to attempt to educate all of our community as far as COVID-19, and that was when we first started learning about social distancing and staying away from each other. And then on March 12th, the state did have a directive. The governor had a directive as far as canceling large events. And so Vacaville, as a result of that, complied with those by canceling most of our Parks and Rec events and programs. We either postponed them or canceled them. And then on March 13th, Solano County Schools closed the schools. At first, it was until the end of the month. Now, currently, their time frame is until April 20th. And so as a result, we closed our TGIF programs and preschool programs that normally support the public schools. On March 17th, because of all of this stuff that was going on, we thought that it would be good to follow the suit of Solano County as well as the state. And as you know, it's been declared a national emergency. With everything that's going on here locally, we thought it would be prudent for the city manager to sign the proclamation of a local emergency, and he did so on March 17th, as he already said. On the next day, Solano County issued a shelter-at-home order on March 18th, and then the day after that, on Thursday, March 19th, Governor Newsom ordered for the entire state, issued a stay-at-home order for the entire state. So we've been since then we've been meeting on a daily basis and trying to comply with as these issues, how they affect the city, what kind of implications they have for our operations, and so we've been trying to react to those as they've been going on. Because we've canceled most things and because of the orders that were issued, a couple of the things that we have done here in the city in response to is established a senior hotline. And so we've, just to give you an update on that, we have many volunteers, which is good. And we've received a few dozen phone calls, and we've been able to help seniors that have been shut in as a result of these orders. So the current situation, according to Solano OES, this is what's officially reported, is there are 14 cases of COVID-19 in Solano County. They won't drill down to the specific cities, so it's impossible for us to know exactly how many of those are specific to Vacaville. So all we know is there are 14 cases here in Solano County. That is according to Solano OES. Our Emergency Operations Center has been activated since March 17th, and we are activated to what we call a level 2, and that's what we call a partial activation. And basically, it is staffed minimally, and what we do is we monitor this. We're monitoring the situation very carefully. We have a team assembled of the department heads, senior leadership of city staff that is meeting on a daily basis, including weekends. So we have a daily briefing as far as how we are going to change operations on this. As a result of the EOC being activated to a level 2, according to our emergency operations plan, the fire chief is the emergency manager. The city manager is the director of emergency services. So, as a result of all of the orders, what's happening with the city operations have changed. Our public counters are closed to walk-in traffic to try to comply with the orders that have come down from the county and the state. Our public counters on all departments are closed to walk-in traffic, and it's by appointment only. So we still are conducting business to the extent that we can, but the public has to make an appointment before they're seen by our employees. We've also, each department head has identified the employees that are able to telecommute to the extent possible. I think we have about 100, we've identified about 150 employees that can do so. We're in our IT section is working extremely hard to make sure that's happening. And I think most employees that can telecommute are now telecommuting. Some of them are telecommuting full-time, some of them on an interim basis. But the reason for that is to try to provide for those employees that we're all identified as essential employees according to both orders, and city workers are. And so what we're doing is for those folks that are not able to telecommute, we are providing for the proper social distancing in the workspaces, and that's the reason to try to minimize the number of people that are in the offices or in the workspaces while still being able to continue the business of the city. As far as our priorities, as it stands, like I said, this is an ongoing situation, and our priorities are such. Number one priority is to make sure that we keep the community informed. I think this is a huge information issue, so we want to make sure that we have the latest information. We vet that information as quickly as possible and get it out to the community as quickly as possible. The folks that we are especially concerned about and making sure that the good information gets out is our seniors that don't have the ability to get out and have some extra needs. We want to make sure that they're informed and helped. Another sector that we identified just today was our non-English speaking community. We want to make sure that we get out and translate the information and get the information out to them so that they have good information. Our next priority is to ensure that the city is complying with county and state orders and directives. We're going to do that right now through education, and Chief Carley is here to answer any questions with regard to that as far as enforcement and all that. And then we've identified as far as the at-risk population, we are coming up with a plan on how we're going to address the homeless through this whole situation. So that is on our priority list to handle. Third priority that we have is to ensure continuity of emergency services. So we're making sure, Chief Carley and I are working hand in hand to make sure that our first responders are staying healthy through this so that they can keep responding to the emergency services that the city needs. And then the last priority that I have here that we're constantly monitoring and making sure of is to ensure the continuity of all other essential city services and making sure that we're still able to provide those services. So that's where we are at this point, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Great.
Through the mayor, I had a question
Sure.
or comment. Hi, Chris. I know you reported 14 from OES, but our public health director, I just want to make sure we're getting the accurate information because our public health director this morning confirmed 24 cases. So is there a lag time in getting that directly, or,
Yeah,
I want to make sure that we're all informed.
Yes, there are different. So I reported the 14 cases because that's from, and like I said, that's from the Solano County Public Health. That's where we're getting our information. There is other information out there. If you look at the Johns Hopkins information, they have 21 cases in Solano County. So we're looking into where the disconnect is. They count from different sources. So I guess you can say it's anywhere between 14 and 21 cases.
Okay, thank you.
Any other council comments? I would just like to point out to the public, whoever's watching out there, the staff has been doing a fantastic job. They're working nights, they're working weekends. They're trying to get the information out as quickly as possible. We do have the senior program. Anybody over the age of 65, I appreciate you bringing that up. Anybody over this age 65 needs some anything, basically, they can call in 707-449-5100. If you'd like to volunteer, it's the same number, 707-449-5100. And we need all the help. We need donations, and we are helping the seniors. And if you need something, call that number and talk to the staff that's waiting. Do you know the hours?
Currently, they're doing 8 to 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and then they have limited hours on Saturday.
Saturday, okay. So thank you very much. Just appreciate all the hard work from all the staff. With that, I'll open it up to the floor. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll entertain motion.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Unanimous. Move to, that was continued to the 14th. Reports to city manager.
Just briefly, Mayor, to mention, tonight obviously is a stripped down agenda as we implement technology that allows us to have public meetings virtually. So we should be back to normal by our April meeting. I just want to give a shout out to the IT staff that have spent a great deal of time, going from a handful of people working from home to 150 people working from home in literally a week, implementing Zoom technology throughout the city in that same week. It's been a pretty astounding spin up for them. But we have the technology now, we're testing it. Michelle's been working hard with them on making sure that we can have a normal meeting, as much as normal is right now, virtually, for our next council meeting.
Great. Any council comments?
One quick comment.
Yeah, hit your mic, please. Can you? There you go.
So my only quick comment, and I guess I probably could have commented on the last item too, but driving by the outlets this morning, the parking lot's completely empty. And the reason I bring that up is we had a pretty narrow budget year. We had a couple good fixes this year in terms of some unexpected revenues we got. But we're gonna take a major hit in terms of sales tax revenue, which was already kind of flat. So I don't know, I know we have 4 priorities right now. I'd really like to add a 5th, and that is standing up kind of what we're gonna do economically to recover from this. We're already gonna take a 10 to 15% hit just from businesses being closed now. So I'm sure you're already on it, but if the A-team and maybe Tim and maybe Aaron can start pulling together what we do, and then we can really start running some financial projections with a 10, 20, 25% loss in revenues, I think we need to look at that sooner than later with the tightness of last year's budget. So I'm sure you're already on it, but if you're not, I mean, that should be priority 5, like today, if we could look at that as well.
Thanks, Councilmember. Yes, we are on that. What's unusual in this activity is this is truly in economic terms a black swan. This has never happened before. So there's no good modeling that will say what is happening. A great example is that at the same time we know we're getting really hit with the outlet malls and most of the nut tree shops being closed. Costco sold more toilet paper than they've ever sold in the last 2 weeks. So we're gonna have some offsets there. Likewise, our hotels who are also getting pretty much impacted by this. We have a few hotels in town that are housing CDC staff related to the Travis Air Force Base efforts. So they're full. So it's kind of an unusual, we're definitely working on those models. The state sent out some guidance today, something we'll probably talk to the council about in April is what do we do with the budget? Sales tax information reporting lags by almost 3 months. So the March activity, we won't get numbers for until June. And obviously that's well past the budget cycle. And so we're gonna have to take a look at how we do the budget moving forward. Hopefully get some more information in the next few weeks to try to get a better sense of that impact. But it really is unusual because it just never happened before. So there's no good model to go back to and say, oh, it's just like this event. Because we've never voluntarily shut down our economy like this before. So definitely we're tracking it. We have a couple webinars coming up that both finance and city manager's office are sitting in on relative to this. So hopefully we have some better answers when we get back together.
And my final comment for the evening is, I know it's been said a million times, but please stay at home. If you can, stay at home. If you're out, please space yourself, self-isolate when can. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, and we'll all get through this. So thank you again for everything you guys are doing, and I appreciate everybody's efforts right now. It is unprecedented times, so thank you. Seeing no other council comments, we'll move to payment of claims. I got a motion second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. We're going to move to closed session. And with that, good night, Vacaville.